learning bar. And oh, sorry, I forgot it. Thank you, Stephanie. I'm happy to be able to host this EYE-TA session about school level reports, and our agenda for today includes a welcome and introductions, overview of the EYE-TA, reviewing EYE child, class, and school reports, accessing EYE data in the system, and then as a last item, identifying available resources. Sorry. So I would like to mention 3 quick things to mention before we jump into the presentation. So there are quite a few people in the meeting today. So if you have questions, please type them out in the chat section in Zoom. We will try our best to get to all the questions, but if we don't, we will follow up with you later. The second thing I would like to mention that some of you may already be familiar with this content, but we wanted to ensure that the school leaders and staff who have joined us today have a good understanding of the assessment itself as well. And last but not least, we are using a demo account today. So all the student or school information and EYE results you see in this session are fictitious. So without much further ado, I can start the session. Let's begin by quickly reviewing the EYE teacher assessment. So the EYE TA is an assessment framework used by kindergarten teachers in the classroom to identify the skills of children aged 4 to 6 as they prepare for and make the transition to grade 1. The EYE TA does not follow a particular curriculum, rather it provides an overview of children's development in kindergarten. It's designed to provide a holistic picture of a child's development, and it assesses 5 different domains, as you might know: awareness of self and environment, social skills and approaches to learning, language and communication, cognitive skills, and physical development. So what is the purpose of the EYE-TA? The EYE provides a way for us to determine where a child is today and what supports can be put in place to best help it achieve their fullest potential. It is important to note that the TA is not a test to be passed or failed. It is not to be used to label children or to identify specific learning problems, and it is not about what teachers have taught the child. So the TA allows teachers to easily identify a child's strengths and areas which could benefit from further instruction. The results will help teachers create lessons tailored to children's specific needs and can be used to guide teaching practice in the classroom. Results can be used to engage parents and multidisciplinary teams, as well as help schools allocate resources. This on the slide is a typical implementation timeline. At the beginning of the school year, teachers begin observing the EYE-TA items in their class and collecting their data. They then take the data they've collected and enter it into the online system and generate their reports. In step 4, once they have these reports, teachers can review and share the results and plan their interventions. The final step is to complete the post-assessment in the spring. Next, we will look at the different kinds of EYE reports that are available. So there are a number of different kinds of reports available as soon as the data is entered in the system. So we have the individual child report for sharing with families, teachers, and other members of your research team. This is the first page of the child reports on the slide. We also have class reports for teachers, showing the overall class results and those most vulnerable at a glance. School level reports are also available after the session closes, and they show the breakdown of the EYE results for all the kindergarten classes in a school. And lastly, the division level reports, they show average and specific levels of vulnerability for all the schools in the division. Once teachers have collected their data and have entered it into the online system, individual child reports are available immediately for each child in the class. Each domain includes a photo, an explanation of the domain, and examples or applicable skills, and a color-coded score. At the bottom of the report, you'll find an explanation of the results, and these reports are great for sharing with families, other teachers, and members of the school resource team. The child reports are currently available in 21 languages. And having the reports available in other languages can help open up the line of communication with families who are more comfortable with a language other than English. Let's look into the class reports. So educators can use the information from the class reports to personalize children's learning, ensuring that each child's learning needs are addressed. The class report is a handy way to see the TA results for all the children in the class. We have two types of results in this class report. First of all, we have the domain results. They are simply an average of the results for that domain, and numerical scores are assigned a colored result. We also have RTI scores, and this is a formula that estimates the probability of a child becoming a successful reader by the end of grade 2. This table is taken from page 2 of the class report. It shows what each score range means about a child's current skill level in that particular domain. So we see that a score between 2 and 3 is a green, indicating appropriate development. A score that is greater than 1 but less than 2 is a yellow, and the child is experiencing some difficulty in this domain. Lastly, we have a score greater than 0 but less than 1, and this is a red. The child is experiencing significant difficulty. How can viewing the EYETA results from a whole class perspective help drive instruction and support children's learning? So, well, a teacher can see if their class has a particular area of strength or area of need. For example, this class report shows that the awareness of self and the environment is a strong domain. This is the first column. For this area of strength, they could plan enriching experiences for your children. For areas of need, such as the cognitive, the third column, and gross motor, a teacher can incorporate activities into everyday lessons to help bolster these weaker domains. Oops, sorry. We have developed EYE child action plans, and these are available for every child that is assessed with the EYETA. This resource is available in the online data entry site after results have been generated. The plans are pre-populated, as you can see, with the child's demographic information and EYE results, and give the teachers the opportunity to record their domain-specific observations. They were developed to help teachers analyze the report results, as well as to support them as they sit down with the school's multidisciplinary team and create a plan for the most at-risk children. So at the top of the action plan on page 1, there is a section for the child's demographic information. Next, we have the pre-populated domain and RTI scores, along with a space to record domain and RTI comments. And at the bottom of the page, we have a large section to record general comments. Page 2 of the child action plan is where a teacher would outline the plan for the child. So the topics to consider, what kind of support will they be put in place, how often, who else can provide support. So all these things are taken into account on the second page. The Action plan should be reviewed regularly by the teacher and the multidisciplinary team in order to track progress and set future learning goals. Some questions to consider include, for example, what strategies have been working or not working? Do adjustments need to be made to the action plan? And should some areas of the action plan be prioritized? A little bit more information on using your EYETA results. So by using objective data, school leaders can quickly identify resource requirements, human and physical, with greater precision and clarity. The same data can then be used to assess the efficacy of interventions that have been put in place. The EYETA data will highlight where the interventions for children and classes are effective, as seen in changes in results from one implementation to the next. Therefore, we have a pre-session in the fall and a post-session in the spring, and where modifications or new programs are needed. The EYETA school report enables you to track trends in two ways. So the first one is within cohorts. We can use the pre-post EYETA implementations during the school year to evaluate whether the interventions you put in place were effective from one year to the next, and also provide evidence of whether support programs currently in place are having a meaningful impact over time. The other way is between cohorts. Look for patterns and trends in the results year over year. A school report can also be used to identify skills deficits. Anticipating with which skills the incoming cohort will likely struggle will assist the classroom educator to effectively plan the first few months of school. For example, if there is a trend in the data that suggests many of the incoming cohorts struggle with the skills associated with the language and communication domain, educators can begin the school year with play-based activities targeted at strengthening these skills. By sharing these skill-based data trends with external partners, literacy or multi-agency organizations, children's learning needs will be met at a community-wide level. Also, form a demographic profile. So through consistent reassessment of the children with Tier 2 and Tier 3 learning needs in the post-ITA, the demographic profile on the post-ITA school report can be used to track trends in a school's demographic makeup. School leaders can examine trends in gender as well as age. Also, we can identify schools with high levels of children with Tier 2 and Tier 3 learning needs, which would be the yellow and the red results. Unlike other assessments, the pre-EYETA is done at the start of the school year and provides immediate reporting. This allows educators to act simultaneously on their data to ensure the right supports and interventions are in place right from the start. As children transition from kindergarten, this information can be shared with grade 1 teachers, and a transition plan can then be developed to ensure that resources are in place to support each child the moment he or she enters grade 1. While some children may show results that indicate steady progress, others may not be progressing as quickly as possible, as expected. And this is valuable information for the grade 1 educator, as there may be other factors impacting a child's progress. Thus, also informing the multidisciplinary team's re-evaluation of the recommended support and responses. So next, we'll go to the online data entry side, but I also forgot at the beginning of the session to introduce my colleague, Stephanie Guignon. I'm sorry about that. She's joining me too, and or we both will be watching the chat. So I don't know if there are any questions until now.
Not any questions, Reet, but a few comments. So I will take over from here and we can jump into the online data entry site. Maybe I'll just ask you to stop sharing. Yeah. Perfect.
talking.
So thank you everyone for joining us today. My name is Stephanie Guigno and I'm a Client Success Manager at the Learning Bar, and I work with a number of the other Manitoba divisions, and I recognize a few names here and there, so always great to have everyone joining us for these sessions. I'm going to share my screen. So again, I wanted to mention that what we're looking at today is all demo data. There are no real, there's no real child level information or school level information in here. So that's one important thing to keep in mind. Some of you, I'm assuming most people here do have access to the online data entry site. If you don't, for whatever reason, please make sure you contact your EYE coordinator for your division. They'll connect with us and we'll make sure that you get access. So we want to make sure that everyone is able to see the data in the system. So we can certainly make arrangements to get you added if necessary. So here on the main page, we have the online data entry site, and I'm going to be logging in as
I'm in a meeting, but I lost it. I don't know where it went. Didn't hear it talking.
Sorry, Charlotte, did you have something to ask?
I muted myself because I was trying to ask her a question.
Okay. All right, so we will continue on here. For anyone who is, if their division is doing the direct assessment as well, you'll actually see the option to toggle between the two assessments, the direct assessment and then the teacher assessment as well. So we're going to make sure that we are logged into the teacher assessment. And I'm going to look at my school data right here. So once your session is done, you'll have access to a number of different kinds of reports. The reports are all listed here under results viewing. So I'm going to click on this first icon here, and this is download reports. So there's the option to actually customize the kind of report package that you can download within the system. If you wanted your school reports all in English, you could do that. If you wanted them in French, if you were if you had a French immersion classroom, you could also download them in French as well. We have different report types. You can download the class report, the child report. If you wanted to include the action plans in there as well, and any summary reports, you could download, check off those boxes and download everything as a bundle all at once. The other option, which is quite interesting, is to be able to download all the children who have Tier 2 and Tier 3 learning needs. So maybe you don't necessarily need the reports for the children with Tier 1 learning needs, but if you wanted to really focus on those children with Tier 2 and Tier 3, you could just download those as a subset. Down below, this is where you will actually download the data. So up above, we have the option to customize the report package. Down here, you can actually download the report package. So you click on the download button here. And then you also have the option of downloading all the child reports. I'm going to pause for a second because I see Charlotte has her hand up. Charlotte, did you want to ask something?
Hello. Yes, thank you, Charlotte Campbell from Grand Rapids, Mystified Cree Nation. I remember you. I met you somewhere before. Hello, Stephanie, again.
I remember you as well, Charlotte. Nice to see you today.
So I was just wondering, like, I noticed that they had a lot of different languages when we talk about the reports and printing, and I saw Swampy Cree on there.
Yes.
So do you have to be teaching that in your nursery or kindergarten class and then have access to that, or how would that work for us? Because that's our language here back home.
Yeah, you would have access to that in the system automatically, and I will show you how to view that report. So that would be something that you could print off and send home to the families, so they would have that report in their language if you'd like.
Wow.
So we'll get to that in just a minute, if that's okay with you.
Awesome, thank you, and nice to see you again.
So you can also, if you had more than one classroom within a school as well, you could drill down to the multiple classrooms too. So I'm just going to go back here and navigate back to the other page. So that was our report package. Now we also have something, all the schools within Manitoba, you also would have access to a school summary report as well. So this is really useful in a case where you have more than one kindergarten classroom within your school. So this is what our report, our summary report looks like. It's going to open as a PDF. And very slowly, here we go. So the first page of the summary report for the school shows the demographic information. So the number of teachers, the number of classrooms, the number of students. The next page shows the breakdowns within your school. So how many children have tier 1 learning needs, how many have tier 2, and then finally how many have tier 3. So it gives that nice overview of the for all the kindergarten children within your school. The next one, it breaks down the results, again, the RTI results per classroom, just based on percentages. Then the next one is kind of interesting too, because we have both the domain and the RTI scores as well. So we have them listed as percentages. And then also the final page of the class report is by actual number as well. So as a school leader, you could look at this and see, which maybe if some classes need more support than others, maybe if there's more domains too that where the children are struggling within one class. So if you had an extra resource teacher at the school, you could help them build up the skills in one of those domains. If it was fine motor, for example, you could have some additional activities in the classroom or extra help. If you had a physical therapist, access to a physical therapist, they could come in and work and help the teacher support the development of some of those skills. So again, like I said, this is really helpful in a case where you have more than one kindergarten within the school. It really aggregates that information well, so it's all in one place. I'm just going to jump back over here. We also have the option to search for a specific child record. So if you were looking for a specific student, you could search for them here. And then we also have something new. This is our classroom builder. Well, it's not new. We had this available last year as well. But so this is really useful, I would say more so for the end of the school year, but I just wanted to make sure everyone was aware of this now. So here we have all of our children. So this would be all the children within your school. If you are looking at making class lists for next school year, so this would be for grade 1, you could actually create your class lists right in the system based on their EYE results. So within here, we see we have 1, 2, 3, 4 classes. So the system can actually sort the children into these 4 different classes based on their EYE, their RTI results. So you'd have equal distribution of their within each of the classes. So you can create more classes if you want, or fewer classes. Like I said, you can sort all the children by their by class size and RTI score, and then you can range them in alphabetical order as well. So this is a kind of a helpful tool at the end of the school year to create those class lists. You wouldn't necessarily need to do it at this point, just because we're going to do that post-assessment at the end of the school year, and most likely a lot of these RTI scores will change between now and then. But like I said, you can use it to create your class list. But then as a school principal as well, you could also print off that list with the RTI, the EYE results, and share that with next year's grade 1 teacher. So that's something that's quite handy as well. I will mention more about that, that class builder option. We will be having a session in the springtime to really walk you through that process of what that would look like. Now, the other thing I wanted to show you really quickly, we have this data entry icon down here of 2 children. So this is what a teacher would see within the system. And so teacher would be able to download their teacher checklist, download the class report, and then download the whole report package as well. Now, Charlotte had asked a question about downloading a report in other languages. So Charlotte, this is where you would do this. You would click on Get Report and then scroll down to the report language that you would want. And you would just click it off here and it would download as a PDF. So, so really simple to do, and you'd be able to, like I said, share that with the families. This is also where you would access your action plans too. So if as a school you decided you wanted your teachers to create those action plans, very simple to do. Teachers have the option of editing directly in the system. The benefit to this is that all the data gets stored in here. So if someone else were to want to view the action plan, someone on your multidisciplinary team, they would have access to whatever was being written in here. The alternative is to download a copy of the action plan. The teacher could save it on their computer and type and make notes in it, or perhaps handwrite it as well. So we have some, it's pretty flexible in terms of how you go about creating those action plans. So that, I know we're just about out of time, but I did want to just wrap up with that. And I did want to see if there were any questions before we end the session tonight. I will add one more thing though. We are recording the session and we will be sharing this, the recording with you afterwards. So we'll just, there
was one question, Stephanie, sorry to interrupt. So a question from Tricia Griffin. You stated that one of the main uses of the action plan is to help plan for students most at risk. We have been told that this will work as an SSP for our students and that we should write an action plan for every child that receives tier 2 and 3 learning needs. When the majority of the students have tier 3 learning needs, is it practical to write individual action plans for each of those students? Or would it be more practical to use the information to guide the teaching practices and programming as a whole?
That's a good question. I think just because when you look at the action plan, we also have those domain results in there as well. So I think there'll be some differences for those children in terms of their strengths for the different domains. So yes, you could have some general statements for the action plans for those children identified with tier 2 and tier 3 learning needs, but you'd also be able to drill down specifically as to how you're going to work with those students to support those domains where maybe we're seeing red or yellow results.
There's no more question now. So we also value your feedback, and I have entered the link to an evaluation form. It's only like 4 or 5 very short questions. So if you have the time, it would very much help us. Thank you. There was another question from Tricia. The teachers are concerned about the time it takes to do the action plans.
Tricia, yeah, I'm not sure what your division has relayed to you in terms of completing the action plan. So that is something that maybe you can bring to the EYE coordinator and have that discussion with them. Maybe, like I said originally, you know, there's some general supports that you can put in place for those children with tier 2 or tier 3 learning needs. Maybe that's an option. I'm trying to think of what else too. Maybe let me think about that and get back to you, Tricia, to see if there's any other solutions that I can think of, because I can't think of anything off the top of my head at the moment. So yeah, we wanted to thank everyone for joining us today. It was great to have you here with us. And if you have any additional questions, you can certainly reach out to Reed or myself at any point. We also have a great EYE support team here as well. So if it's not something that we can fix for you, we certainly will connect you with the right people, and we'll do our best to fix that for you. All right, so thank you everyone. And Trisha, we're going to connect with you directly about your concerns about the action plans. And like I said, we'll see if we can find something to help you with that. All right, so thanks everyone. Enjoy the rest of your Wednesday, and we look forward to catching up with you soon. Charlotte, good to see you again.